So I'm currently 25 years old, and I pretty much stopped partying for the majority of the year over the last few years. Actually, I really partied quite hard from the ages of, well, all the way from the start of high school, if you can call high school partying, right? That type of partying, all the way up to about 22 years old when it started to taper off. So I wanted to make this video because not partying anymore is one of the many changes that came along with that lifestyle that I made that has radically transformed not only my life, my circumstance, my situation, but the person that I've become to a very, very fundamental level. And I truly believe that the way it's helped shape and transform who I am in my life can be of help to anybody out there who might be on the fence or thinking of the same thing. Maybe you're somebody who's currently caught up in that lifestyle heavily, as I know most people, especially in their low 20s to high 20s, even low 30s, are typically caught up in this lifestyle. So this video is simply going to be providing you my insight, my outlook of having nearly a decade of experience through partying all the time, and that's what this is going to be about. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned. By the way, if you're new to the channel, my name is John Mango. I also go by the name of Coach John because I am a fitness, fat loss, muscle gain coach. I drop content on a weekly basis covering those topics, but also covering topics like this that all have to do with a healthier, better lifestyle, a better version of yourself. So if you're interested in achieving that, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell and the like button as well while you're at it. So quick backstory about my partying, like I said, all throughout high school basically, so 14 up to 18 or 17, right? Once I left high, so I was going to parties all the time. That's really all we do, right? You're not going to clubs very often unless you can get a fake ID. Luckily, I looked a lot older than I was, as I always do, and so I was able to get into some clubs at a time. Anyways, you get the point. Now, afterwards, going through college around the ages of 20 and 21 were kind of the peak of my partying days, or I would say maybe 18 to 21 years old. In that gap, it just kept ramping up to the point where I was going out every single weekend, multiple times a weekend, with a bunch of different people, going to clubs, buying the bottles, getting the booths, that whole lifestyle, right? And what comes along with it. Constantly drinking. Now, I actually made a separate video as to why I quit alcohol as another part of this piece of the puzzle, if you will. You can check the video up there. I was going out all the time. Now, I was working incessantly, okay? I'm super young, 20-year-old, fresh out of college. What else was there to do but to work, party, and make gains, right? So that's what I was doing. And now it's funny because all those three things don't necessarily intertwine or can't necessarily work very well together, at least for a sustainable period of time, which I obviously found out shortly after. So when I was partying, I was going out, I'm drinking heavily each time, you know, usually smoking weed. I never really did any hard drugs, though I was in the presence of hard drugs all the time. I never trusted myself to say okay with any of those. And so I think luckily I never indulged in them, but I was definitely immersed in all that stuff, and I wasn't doing much better by getting absolutely annihilated and hammered all the time. I was going to, you know, I felt like when I started to taper off, I really felt like it was just starting to become repetitive. We would go out to the city. Okay, I live, actually you can see Toronto right outside my balcony, right over there, not through this camera, but you know, we used to go out to Toronto and party. We go to condos, we go to private parties, we go to clubs all the time. All these things that eventually I started to notice a trend. And that trend was that this is actually quite unfulfilling. Though it was fun in the moment, obviously, right? That's what it's all about. But the issue started to arise that there was really no stability in this lifestyle. And now a lot of people might be thinking, well, I don't want stability, and that's fine. Again, this video might not be for you, but there comes a time, and it's usually later in life than it was for me, I feel, because I know a lot of my friends, a lot of people at this age, 25 or younger, don't quite understand this or aren't quite there yet. I started to feel like, you know, I've experienced so much of that life. I had given so much of myself to that life, to just making sure that we're partying, we're hanging out with new people, meeting new people, you know, going all over the place and just trying to live that lavish lifestyle, right? Which is always just a front if we're being real. Because, you know, at the time, yeah, you're making maybe a ton of money, as I was making a good amount of money, but then you're blowing it all on stuff that gives you no return other than right there in the moment. So after a few transformative epiphanies that started to get me to, you know, reconsider what I actually wanted to do with my life, who I wanted to be, and these types of things, okay? These very important questions started to lead me down the path of cutting out alcohol. The excessive drinking and getting blackout was definitely not something that was keeping me healthy, as I started getting sick all the time. It was not keeping me happy. I was not productive. I would sit around. I would have one day off a week. I was barely doing anything that day, right? I was recovering. I would go to work hungover, and it just felt terrible. I was never in a good state of mind, always foggy up here, right? And so I started to wean off of it, and I started going out from 3 times a week, twice a week, regularly, every single week. I started bringing that down to maybe once a week, once every other week, once a month. And over the course of when I was about 21, 22, I had a girlfriend. And when I got the girlfriend, you actually start to come out of the whole party lifestyle. At least that's what happened with me. That's what I've noticed as well. I got a girlfriend. I got in a pretty serious relationship, and that was from the ages of just about 21 to 22, or 23, I should say. And so what happened there was, I was settling down a little bit. There wasn't as much need to go out and party all the time. We still did, but it wasn't something that I looked forward to all the time, right? I was more so looking forward to growing the relationship. And so immediately, once you find something or a route that begins to pique your interest a little bit more, or you want to dedicate more to, I always find that partying falls by the wayside. So I'll give you another example. Through this time, I was developing other skills, and I was trying to become a better person, okay? And I realized I wanted to start a business, and I was becoming a coach and coaching more people and helping more people, as well as developing my stuff. I started taking my lifestyle more seriously, my health, my fitness, and I was just feeling better and better each day. And so I decided, you know what, maybe I'm gonna start this online business on the side. So I started doing that, and now what happens is, I'm around 22 years old, and things are really starting to pile up, okay? Meaning I've got a business I'm trying to run. I start reading books all the time. I'm really starting to, I'm immersed myself in learning and growing and becoming a better person, because my focus started shifting more towards my future. And so what I realized naturally, just like with the alcohol, I started just kind of not going out as much. My friends would call, they'd text me up, and they'd be like, hey, we're going out. You coming? All these invites, I started turning them down. And I said, look, man, I gotta rest. I gotta sleep, because I'm trying to chase some goals. I'm trying to do something with my life. And throughout this period of time, again, around 22 years old, anytime I would go out, I would still go out sometimes. Anytime I would go out, it was fun in the moment, and I would try to be present, use it as almost like a meditation type of a practice. But I would drink, and it just always set me back. And it always kind of held me back from what I really wanted to accomplish in life, the bigger picture, if you will. And so that leads me to why I stopped and how. So I weaned off of it. And why I stopped was because I started chasing something greater, and I started to notice at the same time that all this partying, it just became repetitive. It's just the same thing over and over and over and over again. Sure, you might be in cool spots. You might be with some famous people, some cool people, whatever it may be. Okay, that night might be a little bit more fun than the last, but at the end of the day, the next day, what happens? You're going to work again. Or you got to restart in your diet, or you got to hit the gym, but you're hungover, so you got to take it easy, and you got to recover now, right? You're spending all day in bed on Sunday to recover, to get ready to hit work again the next day. And what happens? You start to dive into this cycle of everything becoming a means to an end, which was the partying. But then you start to realize that partying in itself is a means to an end. It's not sustainable, and it doesn't bring happiness or fulfillment. It might bring temporary joy, but at what cost? And so I started asking myself these questions. I started diving deeper into, who do I want to be? What do I want in my life? And what does that entail me having to do, having to sacrifice? What direction do I have to take in order to actually become this person? And weigh out the pros and cons as to, okay, if I keep up the whole partying lifestyle, where's that gonna take me? For example, was I gonna find the love of my life in, the party lifestyle? No, I've never found a girlfriend at a club or at a bar, okay? Any girls that I met there, it never was sustainable, never. So that's a no-go. So what's the point of that, right? people go out because they want to hook up or whatever it is. That's typically what it comes down to, at least for guys. A lot of the time they're going out to hook up. Sure, of course they're going out to have a good time and all that, but regardless, having a good time, why does that need to be spending tons of money on alcohol and spending tons of money getting to a booth or getting to a bar or a club where you're just going to be standing around, sure, dancing, having fun like that, but at what cost? The next day, the next couple days, especially as you get older or you keep going through this lifestyle, you start to get tired of it. Your body starts to get tired of it. And when you start to develop an ambition and actually want to do something greater with your life, you'll realize that it may not be holding you back entirely, but it's holding you back to a massive extent. Partying all the time. You want to be in great shape. I get that a lot of people glorify that they're partying all the time, they're in great shape on Instagram. Let me tell you, man, that is not the reality. Anybody who looks insane is partying all the time typically is involved with something else that is probably not a sustainable route in itself. They don't mesh. Take it from me, man. I tried to do it all. I tried to party every single weekend while work and make money all the time and live a healthy lifestyle. It doesn't work. Okay, they conflict. It's a conflict of interest. You need to go out, get wasted, and have a good time doing all these high dopamine, instant gratification things, but then at the same time, you're trying to do something over here with your health, fitness, your lifestyle, your business, your career that requires delayed gratification. You're kind of burning the candle at both ends. And eventually it's going to lead to something that's not sustainable. I ask myself these questions. Who do I want to be? Why do I want to do what I want to do? And I started taking personal development more seriously. I started to take learning more seriously, started to take spirituality more seriously. And naturally, the more you pursue a path of trying to improve yourself, the more obvious it becomes how much partying is on the opposite end of that path. There were plenty of times where I would go out, even till this day, sometimes I'll go out. I'm not getting hammered, I'm not drinking. I'll probably drive. I'll have a good time regardless because I'm in the present moment, I'm with friends and all that, but I'm not sacrificing my goals. You still want to have a life, you still want to be social. All the things that come with that party lifestyle, it leads nowhere. The sad part is that everybody figures this out at one point or another. It might be at 30 years old, usually it's around that mark, I'd say. It might be older than that, but at some point you're going to figure it out because the fundamental principle about partying all the time, going to a club, spending all this money, what are you going to get out of it? Temporary joy. It's called instant gratification. You know what instant gratification leads to? It always leads to disaster afterwards. Think of any instant gratification. Eating junk food is instant gratification. You feel great now, what happens? You pay for it. For years down the line, you pay for it. Partying is no different. That's how and why I stopped in a nutshell. I want to mention some of the ways that it's changed my life and some of the things I got out of stopping the partying lifestyle. Because people, like when I tell people I don't drink or I don't party, sometimes their assumption is, you must be a boatload of fun. It's unfortunate because that person doesn't realize I'm probably 10 times more fun than they are. Because when we go out, I'm the one that doesn't shut up. I'm the one that's bouncing off the walls. People think that I'm drunk and they're like, oh, who's driving later tonight? I'm like, me. They're like, you mean you're not hammered? You're sober right now. You're not on something, bro. You sure? How do you have this much energy? How are you fun? Everybody else is hammered, starting to pass out, throwing up, whatever it is. Having fun has nothing to do with alcohol. It has nothing to do with going to clubs. Clubs are a perception of having fun. People think that, well, I want to have fun. What do? I go to a club. I'll be the first to tell you, having a decade of experience doing that, there's a lot of different ways of having fun. And again, as you evolve and pursue a passion and an ambition or something that's going to better your future, something that's going to actually make you feel better in the long term, improving your health and fitness, maybe going to the gym on the Friday night instead of going to the club, I'm telling you, man, you're going to feel better. You're going to have more fun every day of the week instead of Monday to Friday being a drag and then the weekends, for 2 nights you have fun and then what? You repeat the cycle. It's a means to an end. No, instead you have fun all the time. You find the joy, fun, excitement in every situation throughout life. So I'm not going to clubs all the time anymore. I'll go out to a party I typically just go out, see friends, hang out with friends nowadays. Go to a club maybe a couple times a year now. I'll go, I'll have a great time, but I'm not awaiting that. I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. I'm not relying on going to the club for fun. I have fun every single day. Every conversation I have fun. And this might sound a little bit ridiculous, a little absurd if you're not quite there. Maybe you're not doing something that's fulfilling you, but if we have a conversation, you'll know that this has nothing to do with being a fun person. I know plenty of people that drink all the time. They are lame as hell when you're talking to them sober. Imagine being that. That's what most people are. Imagine being insecure, no confidence, no energy, no drive, no desire, poor attitude, negative, until you have alcohol in your system, until you're at the club, until you're at the bar, until you hook up with someone. Then you're all pumped up, you're all excited. It's a means to an end. And you're going to be disappointed, sadly disappointed in the future. Now, again, I'm not making this video to lecture everybody and say, this is why you shouldn't party, stop partying, all this. This message is for the people out there who maybe you currently are experiencing this and you're pursuing something that's greater, something that is a bigger picture thing, you know, not a means to an end, something that's gonna fulfill you, that you're passionate about, and you're kind of giving up partying and maybe you're feeling lonely about it. I can tell you this, one of the things about not partying is it's increased my self-confidence. It's increased my perceived value, if you will. That might be a superficial way to put it, but what I'm trying to say is it makes me feel better about myself that I'm not going out. Whereas before, you know, you don't go out or you miss a night and you feel that FOMO or fear of missing out. Not anymore. Now I get the other side. I remember near the end of me cutting this whole lifestyle out, I would go out and I was like, damn, I really wish I stayed home. It's so funny how that works. Now I see people going out all the time and I say, good for you, do you. I'm working on something. I'm busy, I'm building something. I'm building my dream. I'm going after my future. And you know how pumped up you get? You know you're not missing out on anything. Later on down the line, I'll be partying when you go to work. So when your partying ends at 30, 35, my partying is gonna start because I spent the last 10 years more building my future. And then once I got momentum, 30, 35, everybody else has to stop and actually be adults, be serious about it. I get to party off the fruits of my labor. But when I'm partying at that point, I'm not going to these cheap clubs out in Toronto. I'm not buying these bottles and all this. I'm going on yachts, I'm going on vacations, I'm going to Europe, I'm going across the world, I'm going to the nicest places, staying at the nicest hotels. It's all perception and it's a lot of delayed gratification. So how it's changed my life, it's improved my confidence in that regard, like I just mentioned. It makes me feel better about myself. It makes me feel like, okay, I'm getting ahead. Everybody else falling behind, I'm getting ahead. It makes you more pumped, more focused. You know, I'm sleeping more. I'm sleeping well, I'm taking care of myself. My health is getting better. I'm staying on point with my workouts, my nutrition. So obviously one of the biggest positives there is the fact that cutting out the partying lifestyle has freed up so much time, so much money, so much focus and energy into whatever else I want to put it. Think about how much time, energy, focus, and money that takes away from the bigger picture. It's like smoking cigarettes, right? Again, I made a video on why and how I quit that too, but the money that you could save, the life, the energy, the health that you would have if you quit that, it's very similar with the partying. Partying is very much similar to smoking. It's very unhealthy, and it's extremely, especially unhealthy for your goals, for your ambitions, for a greater purpose in your life, to give you meaning. Another bonus I've found, I'm more clear-headed, I'm more focused, and I'm more happy every day because I've eliminated a dependence on having to go out, having to party, having to be around people all the time. And I've learned to enjoy my own company. I've learned to stay focused. I've become more clear-headed. I wake up on Saturday, I'm ready to go as early as I need to. I wake up Sunday, it's gonna be a killer week because I'm about to prep everything. I'm gonna be on point. I'm gonna have my meals prepped for the week. I'm gonna have my schedule out for the week and my calls booked. I'm gonna have everything moving in the right direction. Before 12 p.m., that'll be done. People aren't getting up out of bed from their hangovers 4, 5 hours later. Partying is a means to an end. These are some of the benefits that it's provided me. Made more money than I've ever made in my life. That's a very basic one. Because of the time, energy, focus, and money that I'm saving and putting into my business, my passion, what I want to do, improving myself, reading, you know, meaningful relationships, not these superficial one-off meetups or hookups or relationships of people that you meet in the bar and club. The bar and the club is an unsustainable thing in itself. It's a means to an end. Therefore, everything in an environment like that typically is a replication of that. So friendships that you build off of when you're drunk, you know those people that you build a great relationship with when you're hammered all the time, or when you're partying all the time, and you're their friend because of that. But then, have you ever seen that same person sober out in public? Sometimes it's kind of like weird, it's just not the same. It's a means to an end relationship. It's a three-legged table. It's just not standing on a strong foundation. It's superficial. It has no meaning, no value. I've been able to cultivate more meaningful relationships, fulfillment in my life, happiness, mood. My mood is more stable. I can deal with stress no problem because I'm sleeping right. I'm staying on point. I'm excited every day. I'm staying on track with everything. It all feeds into itself, right? The energy, attention, focus, money that you're pouring into partying, or that partying is drawing away from you, the distraction, the instant gratification, the habits, you save all that, you put it into something else, I promise you, it's gonna take off. I put it in my business. It got dark out while I'm making this video, I just noticed. I put it in my business. By the way, it's Friday night tonight. Friday night, it's 6 p.m. on a Friday. I'm not going out tonight. I got tons of work to do, but you know what? Maybe in a few hours when I finish up some work, maybe I take a little time to relax, maybe watch a video, a movie. I could text my friends and go out with them, but a lot of them got girlfriends, or a lot of them are already partying, doing something else that I'm not interested in. That's fine. Any of my friends that are doing the same thing as me, guess what? They're doing the same thing as me. They ain't partying. I'll meet up with them through the week. I'll meet up with them to talk goals, to talk shop. What are you doing, man? Motivate each other. You start to not cut off friendships or burn bridges, but you stop hanging around so many people that are unfocused, because a club is an unfocused environment. Partying is an unfocused environment. You are the people you hang around. You start moving away from an unfocused crowd more towards a focused crowd. You start attracting more focused people. It's a no-brainer. Your muscle gains, no-brainer. Oh, imagine the energy, the rest, the hydration, eliminating the toxins you're putting in your body from partying. The sleep alone. My health is better than it's ever been, and it's only been getting better ever since I've lowered the partying. Because again, now you've got all those extra resources, you gotta put it into something. I could go on and on about the changes, most money I've ever made in my life, and it's only gonna be going up. Started a YouTube channel and put a lot of effort and dedication to it. It's growing. Fruits of my labor are being realized. Best shape I've ever been in my life, hands down. Strongest, leanest, at this body weight, most focused, nutrition on point, always, hydration, the best it's ever been, sleep on point, focus, happiness, mood, elevated at all times, peace, joy, no stress ever, just clear, just focused. And like I said, all of this is for the bigger picture. It might be tough at first to wean off it, but wean off of it like I did. You don't need to go cold turkey. It's gonna be tough. A lot of people aren't gonna understand what you're doing. A lot of people aren't gonna believe you. You don't need to tell anybody. You gotta show them. When they start messaging you, nah, I'm not coming out tonight. Eventually you're showing them this, they're gonna catch on. Guess what else they're gonna catch on to? John hasn't been coming out for months. Oh yeah, did you hear he made X amount last month? Did you see how many subs he got on YouTube? Oh, did you hear about, he's going on this tour, whatever it may be. Those are superficial things, but you get the point. They're gonna notice that, oh my God, this guy's really turned his life around. They talk to you, next time you see him, they're kind of like, whoa, this guy's been reading a lot. This guy knows a lot here. This guy's impressing me. This guy's really changed his life. Maybe I should do the same. Maybe you start to inspire and motivate those around you. That's what I've done. A lot of my friends have started cutting out partying, drinking, all this stuff not because I said they should, just because I did it, and naturally, people are gonna gravitate towards it. People see the success, and not that I'm super successful by any means, but compared to where I was, compared to a bum that just parties incessantly, what kind of a man is that? What kind of an example is that? How are you gonna help clients when all you're doing is partying all the time? How are you gonna build a business when all you're doing is partying all the time? You're not. Those of you who are partying incessantly and that's the goal and you're doing it every weekend and you're still stuck in that cycle, sure, it's fun and it's easy to get caught up in the short-term pleasure, but just know, if not now, at some point, you're gonna have to give it up and you're gonna realize it was really all for nothing. Sure, great memories, if you remember them. Would you rather have great memories now or infinitely greater memories later? Sustainable memories, memories that keep growing and improving and being better and better year after year. That's my question to you. And that's some insight as to why I stopped partying, how it's helped and transformed my life. Anxiety, depression, gone. I don't experience it. I'm in touch with the spiritual side. I meditate, I take care of myself more. Find a vision, find an ambition, find a focus. Take the energy from the partying, put it into that. You're gonna be 10 times happier. You're gonna be glad that you did it. It might be a little tough at first. There's gonna be some resistance, as is natural, but you're gonna start to notice that maybe partying, at least now in your 20s, isn't all it's cracked up to be. Especially when you compare it to a bigger picture thing, something that you wanna do with your life that's great, something where you're gonna be fulfilled, you're gonna be happy, and you're gonna inspire others, and who knows, maybe even change the world. So with that said, thank you so much for watching the video. I know it's a very long one, so if you stayed until this point, I love you, appreciate you. Comment below, no party gains. I'll know if you're the real MVP or not. But that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I hope I covered everything. I hope it all makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know. If you wanna see maybe a part 2 or other videos on a topic similar to this, let me know as well. I'll be happy to make them. Again, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys all enjoy the day, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.